Hey folks, good morning. Thank you guys for joining. I hope the setup is already over here. It's not 2 a.m. yet. Oh man, a very tough decision. Market has built the relatively equal highs from 15-minute chart. You can see here this high and that they're the relatively equal highs. Perfectly cleared the buy side liquidity, gave me the market structure shift. There is two fair value gap, anti fair value gap, and the breakaway gap. The setup is already over here. What should I do? Okay, I'll let this go because the time is not right. It's not 2 a.m. yet, so 3 minutes left. I think it's gonna be the bad luck or good luck. We'll see. It was really a good opportunity. A very tough moment. Some days when we come here, market make the liquidity after 1 hour, 2 hour, and some days it has already built the liquidity and gave me the setup before the time. Should I do? What should I do? We'll catch the next entry, I guess. This low has been shifted over here. Liquidity has been cleared here. Low has been shifted there. I'll let this go because it's not the time yet, so I'd love to let this go. If I miss it, okay. We'll see if it can provide any other opportunity. Then we'll go for the trade. As this is just before the 2 a.m., not interested to go for this trade. I'll just sacrifice this trade. Please don't work. If this setup work, then I'll be in a deep depression. Today I'll be here only for the London session, and then I'll be back around the PM session. 7 a.m. and the morning session I won't be here. That's I'm not going for this trade. The reason is if unfortunately it's a losing trade, I won't be able to mitigate my loss by the most beautiful AM session. So that's why I'll be here around PM session. I'll try to go for the either the perfect setup or will not take any trade. And this setup was good, but the time was not right because the setup has been created before 2 a.m. Here is the rules, and that is like no trade should be placed before 2 a.m. and after 5:30 p.m. Sorry, a.m. Maximum 5:30. Best is until 5. Even if it looks too juicy to me, but I'm not going to take this trade. The fun of this London session is you can just open the chart around 2 a.m. and just take a look on 15-minute chart to see did it build any liquidity or not. If you see it has built a liquidity, directly go to your 1 minute chart and just look for the setup, either 22 YT model or inverse parallel gap. If you see that it has been created after 2 or around 2, then just push the button. No analysis, nothing, no higher time frame period, nothing at all. This is the fun fact of London session. As I just open, like when you started to see the chart, I have started to see the chart all together. Another fun fact is around the London session you are able to take very small stop loss. So sometimes if you want to take any trade and you are not confident about that trade, you will have the lowest stop loss. That is another fun fact of the London session. Almost every time you'll see that there is like 15 handle to 16 handle stop loss. and that is going to cover your perfect area where whatever you have to cover, it is covered by the 15 or 16 handle 17 handle maximum stop loss. But around the AM session where it's very difficult to put the stop loss in the logical level with the smallest handle. It is very difficult. Like if you talk about yesterday, even if you put your stop loss to the most logical level, it would be like 42 handle, 50 handle, 60 handle, something like that yesterday. Okay, it was highly volatile. Right now it is trading the water block, the bearish water block. That black line is the 15 handle, which is a ideal target for the London session. I didn't take this trade from anywhere, so I'm just watching it. If it works, it will be okay. If it doesn't work, I'll be happy because the time was not right. I always would love to give the priority to the time. If the time was good, I would be in this trade for any, I mean, by anyhow. But it was built before 2 a.m. That's why I had to let this go. Even if it works, I couldn't go for this trade. Even though I was a bit confused, but later I decided not to go for this trade because the time is first priority. Okay, the word block is broken. I'm not in any kind of entries over here. I didn't take any trade over there. I'm just watching it. If it provide me another opportunity, if this setup failed and then gave me the another opportunity, I'll go for that trade. As the time was not good, I didn't take this trade. I, for example, it didn't work and this market went higher on more time, then gave me another opportunity, we'll go for that trade. Yes, sir. I didn't take this trade, but I was looking for that high, and I have seen that it has built the liquidity so far. So I was just waiting for the time, but the time was not right, so I'm not in this trade. I didn't take this trade, and now I can't re-enter over here because right now it is working with a setup. That setup has been built before the time. Now, if that setup is broken and then market has built another setup, I will go for that trade. Eight handle is not far, brother. Between two highs, there is the difference is eight handle. It's not too far. But between two highs, there is like 20 handle difference. It's too far. Either way, I wish it is too far, Cuba, and then market will go higher, and then it will go very near to that buy side liquidity, then give me the entry. I hope it will do that, brother. I'm watching the water clock as well from 15-minute chart. Market is like consolidating for last 1 hour and 1 hour 30 minutes around the same level. Exactly the same level. It's not going higher, it's not moving lower. So it is very normal. Right now market is also consolidating is very normal because it is doing that for last 1 hour 30 minutes. I wish it will go higher and give me the setup. If it do that, I'll be in this trade. I'm not in this trade because it was the setup before 2 a.m. New York local time. So please don't think that whoever joined later, don't think that we have already missed the opportunity. I believe that if I didn't miss the opportunity, it will give me another opportunity. Even if it works, it will give me another opportunity. From 1 minute chart, the order block is broken. If you look on your 15-minute chart and on your left, where I marked the high to mark the relatively equal highs. Just before that candle, the highest up close body close candle, which has traded a 15-minute bearish fair value gap, is the order block. Right now, it is trading the mean threshold of that order block from 15-minute chart. I'm not marking them because I want you to look at that by yourself. If this market go a bit higher above that high, because this is now working inside a setup, I can't mark another setup inside this setup. If it go higher and take that high, make another bearish setup, I'll go for that trade. This one was before 2 a.m. I would love to give that priority to the time first and then the price. As the time was not right, I was not in this trade. I'm not in this trade. as well as this market is consolidating, so I think I should be happy. Even if I were in this trade, it's gonna be too painful to see this consolidation inside when you are in a trade. 1 2 3 4 5 6, it's already on almost 1 hour 30 minutes. Market is just doing the consolidation from 12:45 to until 2:15. There is no other price action except the consolidation. I think there is nothing to talk about right now. Just pure consolidation. Kuba, please send the price a bit higher so that I can take the sell. Do that, brother, do that. Yeah, something like that, brother. How is your kid, brother? Kuba? He cry a lot? Come on, man, don't fall, please. However, I don't know any of you are in this trade or not. I'm saying this, please don't fall, because I really would love to enter into this market again, and I will be able to enter if it go higher. So that's why I'm saying please don't fall. So if any of you are in this trade, I wish you will get your profit. No, he not cries, but doesn't want to sleep at night. It's the time cycle is very important for the kid. If you let him sleep after 5 p.m., okay, so around the evening time, sorry, around the afternoon time, then the all night he will disturb you. So try to make him awake around the evening time, around the afternoon time, and he will get sleep around the night time, okay. So you can try this, because when my niece was sit there, I actually would to do that most of the time. Thank you, market. Let's see if it can frame a sell setup now. If it do that, I'll go for that trade. Until the 15-minute candle is not going to close above this line, I would love to look for a selling opportunity. Any kind of inverse gap or the 22 IT model is gonna be my best sell setup. You can watch the tips from the experts. They actually give that type of tips that try to make him awake around the late afternoon because of the time cycle, okay. When they stay in the mother's womb, they have a time cycle. They try to follow that time cycle when they are in this world. Like when we are in this world, we try to follow the time cycle, and that's why it's unusual. So you have to change the time cycle, but please take an advice from an expert first. And good luck with your no sleeping night. If it close below this inverse gap, that's gonna be the best sell setup. The time is correct, liquidity is still over there, and it's gonna be the best sell for me, at least for me. I'll go for the take profit trader account actually, keeping on the stop loss. And you can see the stop loss is not even 15 handle. It's not even 15 handle. It will close one tick below this. 35. That is the sell for London session today. Guys, make sure that you have taken a partial around 15 handle, okay? I will just close my trade around 15 handle. If it provide me 15 handle, I'll just close my trade around 15 handle. The best sell around the London session. Liquidity making session. Make the liquidity, make the inverse gap. Time is correct. If it provide me 20 handle, I will close my trade. Sorry, 15 handle, I'll close my trade. But you can do two things. You can try to take the partial around 15 handle, and then you can hold your trade as long as you want. I'm out. My entry was over there, okay? That's why I was just waiting for the 15 handle, but let's see if it has provided you the 15 handle or not. Yeah, it has also given you the 15 handle. It should be the partial, and you can hold your trade as long as you want. I just closed it because I won't be able to trade the morning session today, so I needed a confirmed trade. Market came to this high, which is relatively equal highs, built the inverse gap here. This is the inverse gap. That next candle has closed below this inverse gap. This candle gave you the entry. You will take a 15 handle, at least 15 handle partial, and then you can hold your trade as long as you want. I closed my trade, actually not here, a bit earlier, because my entry was 50 point, okay? So it was like 35.50, I guess. It was 35.50. Was that from there, okay? Because I pushed the market order. So when I pushed the entry, it gave me the entry over there. However, if you want to hold the trade, you guys can do that, but for me 15 handle is more than enough. Stop loss is for 15 handle, target profit is for 15 handle. Done. Either you do that or you take the partial over here, put your stop loss to the break even, hold your trade as long as you want. First, for the sake of this conversion, maybe until here, which is relatively equal loss, maybe until here. You can try to hold it until there. You can try to hold it until here. It's up to you. For me, 15 handle is enough. So guys, I want to see the boom to the comment box. Please give me the boom. In watching the 15-minute, how close do the relatively equal highs need to be each other to count as related? The more the It depends on the experience actually, but it's better to be a beautiful liquidity. When you will be very happy with the liquidity, then you can go look for the trade. I mean, both of this area you can see here, it's much more clean, very beautiful. If it is beautiful, if you are confused, don't take the trade. There is no rules for the liquidity to be built, but it all depend on the experience. But for me, if it is highly volatile, it depends on the volatility. It is highly volatile, then I can look for the distance maximum 20 handle in between two highs. It is low volatility, then no more than 10 handle, something like that, at least 10 handle. Sometimes I can just mark the high or the rejection block also to look for that, brother. Thanks, bro, for advice. We try to do it, no problem. 15 trade for internal liquidity done, boom. Okay, Rajkumari, congratulations, brother. Bro, I can say if price will take previous day high or previous day low, but I am not able to understand how price will reach to that previous day high, previous day low. How to read to trade that, bro? I didn't understand, brother. Thank you, Sophia. Anybody else in this trade? Rajkumar, thank you, brother. At least I got to boom. Anybody took this trade? Okay, no problem. Believe the fact. The first entry where it was here, I didn't take it because it was outside of the session. That means 2 a.m. was not there. If it is not inside the 2 a.m., I'm not interested to take that trade. After 2 a.m., I was just praying that please go one more time above that high. If it can go above that high, and until the 50-minute candle is not going to close above this line, anytime it will build this inverse gap, I'm more interested to take that sell. Or if it clear met the 22 YT model, I will take that trade as well. Right now it should work with this gap, and it should work as a breakaway gap. That was the inverse gap, that was the entry, provided 15 handle, perfect 15 handle. You can take the partial over there or you can close the trade over there. It's up to you. I prefer to close the trade because 15 handle is more than enough for the London session, 7 a.m. and the PM session. I would love to see if it can catch that and fall for that sell side liquidity. Now is the time. Now or never. Now or never. There you go. Of course, Sophia. I I trail my stop loss depending on the PTRS. Okay, so for example, around London session, most of the time I close my trade around 15 handle. Most of the time I just closed my trade. I mean, last few days I'm doing like the pyramiding trade. That's why I was saying that I'm not taking partial, or even if I'm taking partial, I'm not moving the stop loss because I'm trying to do the partial, I mean pyramid entry. But if I would love to trade the London session, specifically London session, 15 handle is for me. I'm done with the 15 handle, no partial, nothing. Just close the trade. If I decide to go for the partial around 15 handle, and if I see that there is no order block, I have to cover. Like in this type of scenario, you can see there is no order block, I have to cover. I will put my stop loss, not even the break even, a bit below of the break even, and I'll get stopped out. But around the London session, more specifically around the London session, I always close my trade around 15 handle, depending on the stop loss. So if it is 17 16 handle, just go for that 1:1. Like here I got a bit early entry, and I was really good to, I mean, it was easy for me to close the trade exactly at around 15 handle. I don't like to take the partial and the hold trade around the London session because it's too low volatility. If I can survive here, that's enough for me. I don't need to gain more from the London session. London session is just for 15 handle. Simple. I'll go for 10 micro contract. 15 handle profit is equal to $300. But it's true that if I see that it's not giving me 15 handle immediately, then maybe I trail my stop loss even before taking the partial. Sometimes I get stopped out around 9 handle, 10 handle, 5 handle, 6 handle, something like that. Good morning, TRVL Ken. Where are you from, Ken? I always answer your question. I always answer everyone's question because I talk too much. However, you can look at the 50-minute chart and you can clearly see that it's not moving anywhere. So this price action is absolutely expected. I'm happy because this market provided the 50 candle from the inverse gap. I was not expecting that it will just tap to this inverse gap and then it will keep falling for forever. No, I was just hoping that it will give me that 15 handle because it's consolidating from the 15-minute chart, and this consolidation will continue until 3 p.m. sorry, 3 a.m. New York local time, I believe so. And it is going to fall until the next swing low. Now the problem is the swing low is too far, so I don't think so it's gonna fall for the next swing low, and I will have no opportunity to take the buy because there is not even a single swing low which is valid to mark for the relatively equal lows. I'm from US, but now in Asia. From Asia, which country, brother? I'm also from Asia. I trade from Asia to market close. Come on, man. You trade for 23 hours. Come on. Good morning, Seth. Good morning, people. It is a good run of 18 handle, and out of this 18 handle, if you can get this 15 handle, is more than enough. I closed the 15 handle. It was like I love to trade around the London session for 15 handle. That's all. You will say that, brother, it's a very small run, but it's logical run. So which one is better, logic or the quantity? Our first trade is a boom from this London session. We'll see if it can provide any other opportunity. So far it didn't. We'll see if it can provide any other opportunity. 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 You can't reuse the inverse gap. Please don't do that. Always give the priority to the immediate reaction. Sister, as I told you, if you are in a relationship and your boyfriend and you have some kind of, like problem, and then you quarrel a lot, and then your boyfriend just went away from you, okay? So you have a small uh, no talking session, something like that. So you are not talking to each other because you have had some kind of problem or fight. If your boyfriend really loves you, he will be back within one day, okay? Something like just one day, maybe one day he will survive because he is in angry mood. But after one day, maximum 2 days, maximum 3 days, maximum 4 days, not more than 3 days, no more than 3 days, he will start to communicate with you because he loves you. But if he just go away, it means he wanted this fight so that he can go away. And then he went to someone else, came back again after a long time. Don't believe him anymore because he has done a lot of things you don't know. So he can betray with you again, or he can be good with you. So don't take that risk. Just let him go. I just gave you the example, okay? Hey George, good morning, brother. Yes, out for 6 a.m. to if market have a solid trade, then sleep 10, wake up 12 or 3 for initial trade or close M&Q hold if trade. Okay, I think you are I mean, you are a trader, but a long-term trader. Hey George, good morning, George. Good morning, George. Good morning. I love you, brother. I'm very happy to see your name sometimes over here, brother. Learning to change approach, yes, a lot of blown accounts, but learning and adapting. The less you will stay in front of your chart, the better you will do in trading. According to Mark Douglas. Start to learn IC2 with you. You have not noticed I am here from when you start to when you end stream lol. I have I'm seeing your comment a lot, brother, but stay small in front of the chart. Our first London session win is a winning trade, fortunately, and we'll see if it can provide any other opportunity. But I'm not interested to look for any kind of sale anymore. It's gonna be difficult. I love the metaphor. Okay, George, How are you, man? I love this guy. Charles is my Ronaldo. I committed to only trade a day or no trade for 7 days. Let's do it, Sophia. Sophia, do you have any kid? Scalper, but sometimes I have hold position to walk away. That's good. I tried a lot, but I was never able to do that because when I am in a trade, I always feel that I have to watch what PDR is working over there. I can't go away because I'm always afraid that market will build a new PDRA and it will be respected. I have 5 kids all grown up. Oh, okay. Then you can't teach them the trading anymore if they are grown up. I thought that they're smaller, I mean younger, and then you will teach them how to trade. Mother is the best. Mother is the best teacher. Everyone thanks for the penguin man. Fathers are not a good teacher, but mother's the best teacher. Belmont underscore SMC Smart Money Concepts has commented the penguin 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 7. Penguin is waiting in a line. However, try to believe the relatively equal highs and relatively equal lows for the first time. That means it has already built the relatively equal highs. It has already given you the sell setup. If it go higher and make another relatively equal highs, give you another sell setup, don't try to believe him. It's kind of first it will make relatively equal highs. It will give you the, how do you know that the sell setup is done? 15 handle, if it provide you the 15 handle from that PD array, this is overall an idea, okay? It's not something for granted. If it gave you 15 handle from that bearish PD array or bullish PD array after building buy side or sell side liquidity, you will say the buy side has done. It has already built the buy side liquidity. Then you will have to wait for the sell side liquidity to be built. Sometimes it will make the sell side liquidity, sometimes it's not going to build the liquidity, sell side liquidity. I mean, after building the buy side liquidity, or vice versa. If it builds the sell side liquidity, then it can make the buy side liquidity. Maybe it is not going to make the buy side liquidity. It will just keep taking the buy side liquidity, whatever it is. If it makes the sell side liquidity, then you will wait for the buy side liquidity to be built. If it builds the buy side liquidity, you will wait for the sell side liquidity to be built. It's kind of one after another, one after another. So it is going to build buy side liquidity, then again it is going to build buy side liquidity, then it is again going to build buy side liquidity, and it is going to keep giving you the selling opportunity. No, it's not like that. If when it will build both buy side and sell side, don't trade London session. Sometimes I'll be here in front of my chart, and you will be able to see that market has built buy side liquidity. It gave you the entry or not, that doesn't matter. Build buy side liquidity, leave that area. At least for 15 handle, it leave that area. Buy side has been built already. Then it has built the sell side liquidity, leave that area for 15 handle. It has built the sell side liquidity. Trade is done. If you can catch any of that run, good. If you are fail, you are fail. No more buy side, no more sell side. It will then go for the liquidity. That's all. I don't know you guys got my point or not. Hey RP, RP, thanks for the penguin, man. So after Belmont's 6 penguin, there is your 1 penguin, which is guarded by 2 boom. No, and you are here, but not just started trading. You have to go for on account lowest fee, fastest payout. Which one you will consider? Fastest payout and lowest fee, it doesn't work like that way. But if you say lower fees, fastest payout, then I'll go for the take profit trader. But lowest fee, no, It's the lower fee. I mean $100 I guess for 50K account for take profit pay. But even take profit trader is the best. Use the code T2 wizard. You will get the 40% discount for the take profit trader. No activation fees, nothing. Only the challenge fee. So if you ask me for the lower fee and the fastest payout, that's the take profit trader because it is going to give you the payout every day. From the first day you will get the funded account. From the first day you will be able to request for the payout. So in my opinion, take profit trader is the best. That is the best of the best. And if you ask me about the lowest, then right now it's Blue Guardian futures. If you use the code T2 wizard, you will get a 50K account for $40 without any kind of activation fees. I was thinking of 25K to hit the goal and ride it for a week for pay. You can do that. Only boom notifications on stream. Yeah, brother, we have already got the boom. The market is a bit consolidating around the same area for last 2 hours. Exactly for last 2 hours. But still we have managed a good boom. I closed my trade for 15 handle, that's all. 5 micro contract, not 10 micro. When I gave you the example, Sophie, I guess I told you that 10 micro contract, so $300. Actually, it's not 10 micro contract. And on the London session, I tried to take the NTR for 5 micro contract maximum. Yeah, the 15-minute candles is looking so beautiful here. All of this trend line are here. Everybody has closed around the same level. They're really so beautiful. Hey guys, please don't forget to push the like button. I'll be here for the London session only. Not going to do the AM session of 7 AM kill zone today. And we'll join you around the PM session with the members only live only. So those people who are members, they'll be able to join over there. So get ready guys. The PM session will be for you guys today. I have to talk about the session. It's been a long I'm saying that I'll talk about the session liquidity, but never talk about that. So I'll go for that today. There is no buy this session unless it makes a relatively equal low with. And what time will you start PM session? Solid PM rant after a long. Yeah, good PM. It's gonna be a good PM rant. PM session I will start around 1:30 to 2 p.m. Anytime in between that. You'll get the notification from the Discord sister. I'm just not here because I have to go outside around the AM session. So when I'll be back, I'll start the PM session. And I believe that it's gonna be like 1:30 to 2 p.m. In between that, it's gonna be all about the session liquidity. What is called the session liquidity? Why previous day high, previous day low is not important. Remember yesterday what did I say? When the previous day low is taken, I told that it's now going to fall. It's not something like it has cleared previous day low, that's why now it is going for the previous day high. No, it doesn't happen. The social media is full of fake information. They don't want you to be a profitable trader or self-dependent trader, because if you are a self-dependent trader, you will never be back to me, right? You will never buy my course, you will never join to my mentorship. However, I don't have any course or mentorship. Everything's for free. But this is a fun fact, right? Why I let you be freedom? I mean, let you take your freedom when I'm getting money from you because you are joining my course mentorship. That's why this all confusion are spreaded inside this social medias. They will show you something that you will believe, and you will start to be a slave to them, kind of freedom slave. Psychology crazy better. I don't look at these posts that are painted in hindsight. Nothing compares to wizard math reading. Oh, that's a great compliment for me, RP. Thank you so much, brother. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Even of this consolidation, we are able to make the money. Can you imagine that? From 1250 45, it started to consolidate. Until now, it is consolidating. Still, we are able to make the money from here. Is it good? Now you'll say that 15 handle. Okay, go for 10 mini contract. 10 mini contract, 15 handle. How much is it? 10 mini contract is equal to $200. 15 handle into $200. How much is it? $3,000. So 15 handle can make $3,000 if you over leverage. Again, if you get 500, I mean, sorry, 500 handle with just one micro contract, how much it is going to happen? $1,000. How much the market is going to move, it doesn't matter. It depends on your contract size. You have to fix your loss limit. For example, my limit is fixed for $150. For example, in every trade, I would love to take maximum $150 loss for 50K account. Now, depending on that, if I see my stop loss is 15 handle, okay, so I have to go for the $10 per handle. That means 5 micro contract. I'm allowed to go for that. Now, my stop loss is 10 handle, so I can go for 15 $15 per handle. That's gonna be like 7 micro contract. It depends on your stop loss, not according to your target. Come on, man, too boring learner session today. No movement. I believe the movement is coming from 3 a.m. New York local time. So after 4 minutes, it's gonna be a bit volatility. There will be a bit volatility. Hi, T2. Everybody, I hear you always. You talking about handle. Is one handle and one point the same or equal? Uh, pips? In Forex, we have used the word pips. In what is here? Okay, so here we use the word handle. One handle means 25,349.00 to 350.00 25,350.500 is equal 1 handle, which is divided by 4 ticks. 4 ticks means like 349.25, 349.50, 349.75, and then 350. Yes, point and the handle are the same. That means I say 15 handle, you can say 15 point, you can say 15 pips, whatever you want to say. But you have to understand the 15 price position. On your right hand side, see, from 440 to 442, sorry, 420 to 440, it's 20 handle, 20 points, 20 pips. What else you can say? I don't know what else we can say. One handle or one point or one pips is equal to 4 ticks. So 20 handle is equal to 80 ticks. One tick is equal to, for one mini contract, one tick is equal $5. One point is equal, or one pips, one handle is equal $20 for mini contract. Do you understand, brother? Thank you, Ken. 249 inversion fair value gap. There is no other inversion fair value gap. There is no other setup. I don't think so. This London session is going to give me another session, but I'm just waiting to see how the 3M is going to work. If I see the volatility around 3M, maybe I'll go for the normal trading, not the liquidity making session, because it's already gone. The liquidity has been built already, and I will have no other opportunity to use that concept. So I'll use the normal price action for my own trading, not for you guys, not for anyone else. For the liquidity making session, for everyone, the trading is done. The next swing low is too far. I don't think so. It is going too far over there, which is near about 200 handle. I'm not thinking it is going to happen like that. So love to see if it is a bit volatility. If it is not volatile around 3M and it's still consolidating around the same zone, I'm just not interested to trade anymore. Because you are a new father, I'm going to consider to reply your question one more time. If you are not a new father, I would never reply this question, at least not today, because I have already talked about that. However, in London session, when market will build a buy side liquidity, okay, clear buy side liquidity with the same highs, you can't use a lot of entry opportunity. You can't do that. For example, I have seen this market has first reached to the relatively equal highs. It has built the relatively equal highs, build a fair value gap, inverse fair value gap setup, gave me 15 points, 15 pips, 15 handles, whatever it is. That means the job of that high is done. I have to look for the swing low now. If and only if this market can go near a swing low and then build a relatively equal lows, I can only go look for the buy. No more sell is valid for this London session. Sell is done. Only buy is valid. Even the buy is not guaranteed. If a London session gave you sell setup first, then you will get a buy setup for sure. No confirmation, I mean 100% sure, not 100%, like there is no condition for that. It can give you the buy setup, it can give you the sell setup. I'm sorry, it maybe it is not going to give you the buy setup. Same for, if it first give you the buy setup, then there is no guarantee you will get a sell setup. Most of the time it doesn't give you the sell setup. Most of the time it just keep going higher. without building the buy side liquidity, it keep going higher. You can use the same logic for one time for one side. When both buy setup and sell setup is done, you took the entry, you got the entry or not, nobody cares. It's done means London session is done. When the buy side and sell side both have been built over there. Okay, I thought that 3 a.m. will be a bit volatility, but still it is inside that consolidation range. No sell setup is valid anymore for this London session. Sell is done, brother. Even if it go higher and take build another relatively equal highs, sell is done. You can't frame any kind of sell anymore because it has built the buy side liquidity, gave you a setup. It has to be inverse gap or 22 IT model and provided you at least 15 handle run, 15 points run. That means sell is done. Now if it go above that high and go for the next high, build another relatively equal highs, give you another sell setup, I'm not interested to take that sell. Even if it go to the all-time high and build the relatively equal highs with the all-time high, okay, still the sell is not valid. Sell is done. In one session, one trade is more than enough. Okay, so what we think how many entries can I take by one session? Think like this London session. It's a very low volatility, right? You are seeing that this market is inside the range for near about 2 hours 15 minutes right now. Fortunately, we got a profit. I mean, 15 handle run. Fortunately, still we're thinking about a trade. But should we think about a trade here? What do you think? Should we trade? Think about a trade here. It's a human psychology actually. Absolutely. Just buy is valid. No sell is valid. Now, if this candle close as a bull candle from 15-minute chart, if this candle close as a bull candle, and then it come to the most recent swing low, which is here. See this low here. If it close as a bull candle and then it fall, come here, I will start to look for a buying opportunity. Now it will make two relatively equal lows. If it close as a bull candle, but if it close like this candles, the way it closed, then it's gonna be the sideways candle, and I'm not going to use this low as a swing low to mark the relatively equal lows. If it closes as a bull candle, you will see there is a swing. It will be a clear swing over there. Otherwise, I have only this low to mark the relatively equal lows. Oh man. Oh. I'm going back. See you, sister. I know it's midnight over there, so please take a good sleep. Sound sleep. Yeah, you will be able to join me around the PM session as you are the member. Guys, I would love to tell you something very serious, okay? If you really would love to learn any strategy, first try to understand the history behind that strategy. If you ask something as a fair value gap, FVG, fair value gap, ask yourself why it is called FVG. Order block, why it is called order block? What is the job for this PDRA? Ask this type of question. When you'll understand the history, the reason to call it FVG, order block, session, previous day high, everything, lot of things will be clear to you, lot of logics will be clear to you. For example, why it is called FVG, fair value gap? Brother, it is an imbalance, that is why it is called FVG, right? Now, I think most of you are new here. Those people with me from the very beginning, okay, they knows that some gaps I just called gap. Some gap I called it's a gap with some value, and some gaps I used to call fair value gap. If I ask you, brother, why it is called fair value gap, what should be your reply? Oh, George is here. George, do you remember, brother, this thing when I was explaining what is fair value gap? Remember, brother? Just confirm if you remember. If I ask you why it is called FVG, fair value gap, what should be your answer? What you will give me the answer? I know your answer, but can you anyone please can tell me that why this is called fair value gap? What is fair value gap? If I ask you a question, what is fair value gap? How do you know that this thing you have to mark as a fair value gap? Anyone can give me the reply? Then I will be able to show you what is wrong with us, why we don't get the point. First give me this reply. Those people who knows the reply, please don't give the reply. I am asking this for the new people who are not who never heard about me to talk about the fair value gap. Thank you, Sachin. Any of you can reply me. Why do you say this is fair value gap? FVG. Let's see if there is, I can see 39 people are here. Any of you can give me the reply. You use you are I mean learning ICT concepts. You know fair value gap, you know order block, you know propulsion block, mitigation block, breaker block, turtle soup, MMXM, silver bullet, everything you know. But I'm asking you the basic. Why this is called fair value gap? Any reply. If I don't get any reply, I'm not going to continue this bullshit. You don't want to reply? I'm not gonna explain. Simple. Fair. It is fair. Mm-hmm. Good, George. Is an inefficiency in price. Fair value to either buy or sell. Okay, at least some of you gave me the reply. I'm not going to take the reply from George because he's with me for so long. That's I'm not taking his reply. However, thank you, brother. So if you see an imbalance, which is kind of this is called later. A long time after ICT explained this FVG or introduced that FVG, he told that it is not fair value gap. It is more precisely called buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. That means market has provided me the buy delivery here, and there is inefficiency of the sell delivery. So kind of he gave the example of the painting on the wall. When you are rolling the roller on your wall while you are painting, so, and you are just going up. When you are going up, there will be some place where there will be no paint. So what you have to do, you have to come down again to cover that area, then you will go up again. Or if you see there is more space is empty without paint, you will keep falling to paint that area, then you will go higher again. This is how he explained the inefficiency of the price, which is called in short FVG, fair value gap. Now my question is, I'm going to give you the reply as well. It is buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Absolutely perfect. But why I will call it FVG, fair value gap? Every gap market is going to build in this market is not fair value gap. Some gaps are simple gap, like they're not fair value gap. Simply gap, they don't have any value. I'm going to go for this 15 minute. No, let me go to the hourly chart. That will be easier for me. That's cool. In this market, the best fair value gap is the gap that is going to be created at the top or at the bottom. It is called the best fair value gap. In this area, you can see this is the highest gap. To that fall, when this market is going higher, 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 it has built the highest gap here. Fall, trade that gap, keep falling again. When this market was falling, 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 this is the last gap. It is called the fair value gap. As well as this 4 hour chart, because that 1 hour chart was messy. This 4 hour chart was much more cleaner comparing with the 1 hour chart. This is the last gap. Market fall, the last gap. It is called the last fair value. I call it last fair value gap because this is the gap which is the fair value gap. This gap has some value and that value is fair. So market has a logic to come to this gap to trade, to paint, and then reverse from there. Same from here in 1 hour chart. That is a gap which has some fair value. This is the gap which has some fair value. So market has a job to come until here to paint that area, then reverse from there. I have introduced the last fair value gap and the entry fair value gap. That means the more recent gap after the last gap. When I'll be in 15-minute chart, you will see when this fall, there is two gap. This is the highest gap and there is the next gap. I'm going to remove this hourly gap now. Sorry. Two gap. I just mark them all together. Last gap, entry gap. This entry gap is also not the fair value gap. It's a gap which has some value. That means when this market is started to fall, it started to fall. It left two empty space here to the top. It left some empty space over there. Highest space is the fair value gap. That means market has a job to go until that area and then reverse from there. It wants to paint that gap, that sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. This is the gap in this market which is called the fair value gap. The lower gap is a gap which has some value. It's not valueless, it has some value. This gap doesn't have any value. See this gap, it is a gap which has no value. I'll just call it a gap. I am not interested to look at that gap. Everyone who start the ICT concepts, first of all they get confused which gap I should give the priority, because in this market there's a lot of gap. Here I have gap, here I have gap, I have buy side gap, sell side gap, lot of gap. Which gap I'm going to give the priority? If you remember when this market was going higher, that was the gap I marked over there. Last gap, I was asking some kind of reaction from there and then this market will go higher. Why I was so much confident to get some kind of reaction from that gap? Because my bias was bullish, so I was looking for the reaction from there and then market will go higher again. But it was a bearish market, my bias was wrong, so it has been reversed from that gap. This is the last gap, which is called the real FVG, fair value gap. Below this gap, this is the gap which is called entry fair value gap. I call it entry fair value gap for better understanding. This gap is not the fair value gap. That means it can be traded one time, but next time I'm not going to look at this gap anymore. It's done its job. It's not the fair value gap. But this gap can be used so many times. If you have buy anyhow a liquidity kind of relatively equal highs or relatively equal lows, this market doesn't move for anything else except the liquidity. As the retail trader, most of the retail trader use the liquidity concepts. That means resistance and supports. Fortunately or unfortunately, if you have any kind of relatively equal highs and below that relatively equal highs you have two gaps. These two gap is very important. First gap is the entry gap, which has a value, not the fair value, but it has some value. That means market can just take that value and then it can reverse without clearing that liquidity. But if it reach to the last gap, which is here, that gap is the fair value gap. So it depends on the market to see does it want to break that gap or not. If it break that gap, this liquidity is going to be cleared for sure. That means when it will close above that gap, even if it is deep premium, I'm still able to take the buy. If you remember yesterday's price action where I took a sell, it was here actually, around there. I think so far I remember the sell was, where was that sell? I think here the sell was around here. Okay, if you remember, there was a 1 minute last fair value gap that has been broken. Market cleared the liquidity and then when it fall below that last fair value gap, I took my sell. Let me show you the area, if I can show you that area. Mm, that is the area here. That was the last fair value gap. You guys remember yesterday the sell I framed, it went through this last fair value gap, trade the new day opening gap, and then closed below this last fair value gap again. That is the last fair value gap, the fair value gap. This gap has some value. That means it can give me some reaction, but it's not that stronger, that much stronger. It doesn't have that type of power to send the market for kind of long-term fall. It doesn't have that power. Sometimes it happens because it has some value. But this gap, when this market came here, took that gap, broken, and then actually did its job over there, either the liquidity to be taken or to trade some higher time frame PDRA, and then closed below this entry gap, sorry, last gap. I took my sell from this gap, put my stop loss above here, then that fall I caught yesterday. This gap, first market came here, gave me the reaction, took that low. This gap has the value. See this gap here, it doesn't have any value. In this market, you are not able to watch this gap. You should not focus on that gap. You are looking for a sell. Maybe I'm looking for a sell. I would love to take the sell from this gap, not from that gap, because this gap doesn't have any value. In other words, whenever this market reach into the last area, you will see a lot of times it is respecting the last gap so beautifully. This is that hourly last fair value gap. This gap is the most important gap, which has the most fair value. Watch here, where did it came? Just a second. Last gap. See this last gap? I'm going to mark that last gap. Okay, it is called fair value gap. All the gaps doesn't have any value, fair value. What happened? Look, first it came here to this last gap, respected this last gap, sent the market higher until here, break this last gap, trade that last gap constant encroachment or to the top of this gap, then fall again. If you are thinking that this market is going to fall around that area, so if you don't get the fair value gap from 1 minute chart, you will go 15-minute chart. If you don't get it from 15-minute chart, you will go for hourly chart. If you don't get it from hourly chart, you will go for 4-hour chart. If you don't get it from 4-hour chart, you will go for daily chart. From daily chart to weekly chart, but you will keep switching the time frame for the last gap at the top. At the top, when I have found the last gap and that has been traded, then the order block is important. Now the last gap is not important anymore. Look here, there is also a last gap. See this high candle high, that candle high, that is also a last gap. You can see that this candles has traded the last gap, then it has been rejected. No, now this is not a fair value gap. Here the change in state of delivery is important. That has traded the most fairest gap on this chart. The most fairest gap has been traded over there, rejected. Where did it came exactly? Look at the bodies. Is there any other gap below this gap? No other gap, just below that gap, no single other gap. Sent the market higher again. Where? Excuse me guys. Send the market higher again. Where did it send it? To this last fair value gap? No. Here this last gap is not important. Here the highest up close body close candle, which is the change in state of delivery, is important. It is my order block, so I'm not watching the last gap here. It's not the fair value gap now. It's the importance is the order block. Trade this order block, beat consolidation here, finally broke, came to this last fair value gap, rejected from there again, used this reclaimed gap. The highest up close body close candle series is the, this series is the rejected candle. You can see the series over here. Extend it to your right, again order block, break this gap, Retest this gap, fall. Where did it came? To the last fair value gap from 4-hour chart. After that, start to look for the last fair value gap again. Just look for the first fair value gap, not the last fair value gap. I'm sorry. Start to look for the first fair value gap. Where is going to be your first fair value gap? Is there any other fair value gap below this fair value gap? Can you see any other fair value gap below this fair value gap? You have this fair value gap. Look at that fair value gap. You have more fair value gap, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here, a lot of other fair value gap. But below this gap, there is no other fair value gap. That is the first gap market has created. A bit volatility, one candle closed below this last gap. The very next candle has closed above this last gap. Fake breakout. I still don't know how to find this fake breakout. Come here, tap to this last gap. What should you look for? Order block. Lowest down close body close candle is going to be your order block. Mark the order block, extend it to your right, sorry, from the high. Extend it to your right. There, okay. Last gap, order block, come back again to this order block. Now you can go for this candle. It is really a big candle. It doesn't look like a change in state of delivery. It is simply just what to say, I mean, kind of uh, volatile candle, but it's better to look for. Okay, something like that. Most sensitive one. Come back again to this order block, retest this order block, went higher again. To that specific leg. I'm going to keep it here, okay? This is the high. Just look at that fall. From that high to that low. Look at the fall. Where do you see the first fair value gap? I can see the first fair value gap is here. I'm not adding the volume imbalance. If you want, you can add the volume imbalance because every fair value gap is with the volume imbalance. See here, just look at that. How much this market came until there. Why this gap is important? You are seeing I'm showing you like a step by step, one after another, one after another. It came until here. Where did it came exactly? Last fair value gap. Should I look for the fair value gap anymore? No, I should not look for the fair value gap anymore. I should look for the order block, consecutive order block. Extend it to your right. Okay, this consecutive order block. Extend it to your right. Consecutive order block. Not the last gap anymore. Not this gap. If you mark this last gap now, you will see the reaction from all of this reaction happened from this last gap. It's not important. For me, the order block is important. Has been traded here, traded there, fall. How can I show you more? Let me check if I find any other opportunity. It's actually easier for me to explain this well while I'm in live price action. I've done it a lot of time, guys. You guys can check it. Okay. Uh, just go for that. I don't like to go for the hindsight, to be honest. Now I have to find out every area. I don't like it to go for the hindsight. But just mark the last gap and the entry gap. Plus try to understand the order block things and then look at the reaction from there. You will see how beautiful that gap is, and that is why every gap is not a fair value gap. Some gap has some value, some gap has some don't have any value. Some gap is the best gap to look for the value. London session, what did I say? London session is a liquidity making session. I am doing live streaming for 5 days now. This is kind of 5 days so far. What do you see over there? Did it make the relatively equal highs and reject it from there? Yeah, it takes too much consolidation over there. So many consolidation over here. Forget about everything. Did it make clear, relatively clear, I mean, equal highs, then reject it from there? Did it do that? If I were a retail trader and I was looking for an old high as a resistance, is it doing that every day? You have to understand why it is the session, how this market is going to book the market, going for one after another, one after another, one after another. You have to just understand that fact. That's all. Then you will start to believe, oh wow, it is going to work like that way. No worries, Donicho. We have done our trade long ago, and now we are just watching the chart. That's all, brother. That was our trade and the London session. I took that for 15 handle, closed it around 15 handle. Look on your left. Actually, the last gap is too far, so I don't think so. It's going over there or not. No need to be sorry, brother. Today I'm not going to come around the London session, so I just took that trade to my take profit trader account, funded account. I clearly told that before taking that entry, and that's why I told that I'm not able to come around the AM session. So I'll close my trade exactly at 15 handle. It's a 5 micro contract entry, $150 profit. Not exactly 150 dollars, it's kind of $148, something like that I have seen last time. Because of I was just because of some commission or something like that, I guess. Why this market is falling? Because it has built the liquidity, man. Come on. Okay, brother, I'm sending, okay? Sachin, I'm sending it to the market. Please take it from the market. People doesn't want to listen the explanation. They want give me the setup. I wanna copy your trade, but brother, they don't understand when they'll just go from one person to another person. They will never be a self-dependent trader. That's the problem. Nobody is interested about being self-dependent. I don't know why. This is that same last fair value gap. And above this gap, I have the entry gap over there. If you're really interested, brother, listen to my boring lectures. If you ask yourself why I called it order block, why it is called order block, why it is called FVZ, try to ask these questions. You will see the more you will ask the questions, the more you will understand. Not saying that to ask anyone else. Ask yourself, why I'm calling this in FVZ? Just because ICT told, so I'm going to call it FVZ? No, man. Rather, it is called sell side inefficiency, buy side inefficiency. Then in this market, there is thousands of the order block, thousands of the FVZ, thousands of the breaker block. Which one I'm going to call the right one? If I call it the right one, why it is that? Now, if it is that, is it really reacting most of the times? Or it's just random? Like go like this way. You will see that you will get the real information which is going to help you to understand the market better than before. Sorry, brother. I trade London session in different way. My London session is different logic. Okay. So here the FVG are not important. Here nothing is important. Here only the liquidity is important. You can watch the videos from the London session folder. You will know all the rules to trade the London session. It's a liquidity making session. I keep saying this to the people, but they didn't get it because it was as a hindsight. That's why I decided to come only this month around the London session to show that how to use liquidity making concepts. People talk bullshit about the London session. It's not the PTR. There is no price action. There is nothing. It's a classical support and resistance for the retail trader and for us as well. You have to look for the support and resistance. Only support and resistance. I made it much more easier to understand. No more hindsight. Just go for the boom. That's all. However, guys, I'm going to close the stream now because I have got the sell and I don't think so there will be any other opportunity to trade this London session because I don't believe it is going to fall too much to go higher again because the next swing low is really too far from here and I'm not able. I don't think so this will go that far to build the sell side then give me the buy side delivery. That's why I'm not interested to continue this stream and I'll be back around the PM session only with the members. So those people are the member, you'll be able to join over there. Your question, it has what did you say? It has now taken the 15-minute high. So it's liquidity taking session, London session. Is this correct or not? Thank you, brother, for asking this question. This high and that high, they're the relatively equal highs. Now, first of all, if I were looking for a setup here, I wouldn't go for this setup. Try to understand the fact. Why I wouldn't go for the setup? Because this candle has closed above that high. That means this high has taken over there. The liquidity has been taken over there because the body has closed above that line. If I would love to take the trade, I wouldn't go for the trade now because I have seen it has already cleared. In other words, if you see, it has built a beautiful buy side liquidity, relatively equal highs over there. Resistance zone. Retail people, they don't look for the line, they look for the zone. So it's a very nice, beautiful zone as a liquidity. Now in 1 minute chart, when first time from 15-minute chart, it came near to this line, which is that same line from the 15-minute chart high, and provided me the sell setup. I was in this trade, got 15 handle, closed my trade. Think like that way. There was no setup. I didn't take this trade. Market is here and then build some kind of setup over there. I'm not interested to take that sell. I know that it is going to fall. I believe that it is going to fall, but that rules is important for us to take the entry so that we can avoid the losing trade. It doesn't mean that it's not making the liquidity. It's always going to make the liquidity. Sometimes it is going to be so beautiful we will be able to enter. Sometimes it's going to be mess, we were not going to able to enter. That's only the difference. So we need the perfection for our entries, but the concept is London is going to build the liquidity. That is the concept. And for taking entries you need perfection. Everything should be perfect. Remember few days ago around the London session, I think it was Wednesday if I'm not wrong. Exactly, it was in Wednesday. It was in Wednesday. Yeah, it was in Wednesday. If you guys remember, there was just two candle. Wednesday, Thursday. No, not yesterday. I think it's Tuesday. Tuesday. Let me check one more time. Just a second, guys. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, absolutely, it's Tuesday. If you remember, there was that relatively equal highs from 15-minute chart. There was the inverse gap. I think that was the inverse gap. Am I right here? I think it was that area. However, there was two candle more than above that line. Above that line, there was two candles. So I was not interested to take that sell. I don't remember how I was doing this. If the live is over there, you guys can check it. But after seeing these two candle, I was not interested to take that sell. If I'm not wrong, that was that area. If I'm wrong here, I think that is that area. I just forgot. However, I didn't take that sell because it was not so good to me. It was not good looking to me. At the same time, when it has built the sell side liquidity around wherever it was, the next day or wherever it was not very near to the liquidity. It was a bit above. So I knew that it is going higher, but I was not interested to take that buy because it was the distance between two lows or a much more bigger, like four handle extra. I just told that if it go four handle much more lower, I'll take that buy. Just four handle, I will take the buy. But unfortunately, it didn't give me that entry opportunity that specific day. I really forgot it. The live is over there if you guys remember, whoever was with me. So perfection needs for the entry, but concepts are going to be the same. London session is going to build the liquidity. It is always going to build the liquidity from 50-minute chart or the hourly chart. Best is from 50-minute chart. It's always going to make the liquidity 95% of the day. You need the perfect entry for your profit. It's okay, brother Sachin. Everyone doesn't trade this market the same way, right? So some of them are new, so let them trade first, and then when it will bleed, they will understand what I'm saying. But without bleeding, nobody can understand the fact. So what I mean is, it can sweep the 50-minute high, still be called making. Of course, man. It is still the liquidity making session. But for taking entries, it's different. You should be very picky. But at the same time, the high, the way it has taken the high, just look at the how it has taken the high. If you have seen that it has taken the highs, for example, this is the high and it has cleared the high like that way. Of course, it's not building the liquidity. But if you look here, the high around there, okay, doesn't it look like relatively equal highs with an obvious liquidity? What I mean, if it happens like that way, of course, it's not the liquidity making session, right? Because it went above that high, it didn't build the liquidity. Nobody is going to take the sell from there. Even if they mark the zone here, they're going to stop out by that run. But does it look like that same? Or does it look like a beautiful resistance zone, brother? I need perfection. I'm repeating. I need the perfection to take my entries. If this candle wouldn't close one tick above that line, it opened here, I don't care. If it wouldn't close above that line and there is a selling opportunity, I would go for that sell. I need the perfection for taking entries, but I don't need the perfection for saying that, okay, something like that. However, guys, I hope that you got something from here. If anyone has any other question, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll close the stream right now. I needed some profit. I got that, and I'm not interested to hold the, because otherwise maybe I'll do one more trade and I'll lose my profit from the long session. Psychology, man, psychology. I'm a human being. I have the psychology as well. No problem, DJ. DJ. But I don't think so. Anybody has any question? See you guys around the PM session only with the members. Until then, cheers.